Aries, welcome to Healing Hype Man. This is your monthly message. We're going to do a spread here. I'm going to talk about some astrology. I'm talking about Aries risings, but of course Aries suns can relate. These have been getting a little, the spread I'm using is your current energy, your challenge, which is reversed, and in the near future. And I guess I've been focusing on like perhaps the challenge of the month, but they've just been blowing my mind. Because what could be perceived as a challenge to me might not be a challenge to you, right? So they just been getting pretty deep, Aries. But for you this month, everything's in Aquarius, which is your 11th house of like groups, friends, humanitarian stuff, technology. Like you're all about maybe even like making new social engagement or going to new social engagements, being very social, being out and about. I think you're taking something very serious as well with Saturn's in Pisces, and that's in your 12th. And then we go into Pisces season, so the sun goes, right? So it's like, this gives me the vibe of like the beginning of the year is going to be very outgoing and outspoken and connecting with people. And then I feel like towards the end of the month, you start taking something very seriously. Right? Let's dive in. In your current energy, the sun, okay, we're happy, we're positive, we feel warm, we feel good, we feel optimistic. Something's beaming on you, energy's beaming on you. Maybe you feel like you're beaming, or you look good, you feel good. The sun, your first house, like, well, sun represents the first house, not necessarily. Your sun doesn't have to be in the first house, but you're really, the sun is actually in Aquarius, which is your 11th house. So perhaps you feel good around in public settings, right? Your challenge is the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. And in the near future is the Ace of Wands. Okay. Bottom of the deck, why it's all happening, the Tower, the High Priestess, and the 9 of Wands. I'm going to get to that. Your challenge this month, I mean, besides you feeling really good and positive and optimistic and warm and maybe even the social spotlight, gotta be honest, yeah, groups of friends, everybody wants to hang out with you, right? Everybody wants to hang out with Aries this month. I do feel, what I'm seeing here is your challenge is the 9 of Pentacles. Perhaps you just don't, interesting. People perceive you to be like the person they want to hang out with. But your challenge is that you don't feel put together. Or perhaps you're not even thinking about long-term investments, or your long-term investments aren't really panning out. Perhaps you're very short-term thinking right now. And that could very well be what ends up changing for you at the end of the month. You're like, wait, I want to take my stability. Like some of you might even feel unstable. It's just so interesting because you are, so people want to hang out with you. They see you, but I think that you might not feel confident. This is interesting. People see you that way, which is, my astrology is fantastic, right? Like your rising sign is like it's like your PR. It's like your PR house. Like, people see you that way. That's how people see you, but they don't really know what's going on the inside, right? And how it ends is I feel like you get a new spark of inspiration, right? Perhaps this, like, people see me in a certain way, but I don't see myself in that certain way. Perhaps that sparks some new spicy, I could say, or passionate endeavor. There's just a new opportunity. There's new optimism at the end of the month, right? Why this is all happening, at the root of this, the Tower, the High Priestess, and the 9 of Wands. I'm going to say a couple things here. I wish I would have just said it off the top of my tongue. Something's changed. Perhaps even like your belief systems have changed, or you've even healed some wounds, right? And I think that maybe perhaps now people can see that you've healed some wounds, but you might not feel it yet. People can see that you've changed, but you might not feel like you're secure. You might not feel safe enough to go outside into public, but people do want to see you. And you do want to be seen. Perhaps you don't have a lot of money to go out. I gotta say that. That's very basic and simple. Perhaps you just don't feel stable enough. But in actuality, you've been doing this work. And then at the end of the month, Mercury moves into Pisces, which is your 12th house. Saturn is in Pisces. You start to take something serious. You start to take something serious. Let me clarify the Nine of Pentacles. How do we conquer this? Six of Wands, Five of Swords, Seven of Cups. If you're not feeling put together, maybe you don't have a lot of finances there. Giving something up might work in your favor. I think that something needs to be given up here. Maybe that's what you come to realize this month. Like, I have to give something up. I need to look at something differently. I need to do something differently. I need to look at my options. Let me just take a look at something. Your self-worth. That's just so interesting how I have the Sun and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Like, that's like you're... Give me a second. I'm trying to put all this together. I look at all this like in the moment, and I'm a little surprised at what I'm seeing here. Your challenge perhaps is your self-worth. Again, you're going to be desired to be hanging out with. People want to hang out with you, groups of friends, social circles, social awareness, humanitarian efforts, right? Hopes, wishes, dreams in the future. But there's an aspect here of like worthiness, and perhaps something broke you down. Bottom of the deck, why it's all happening. Something broke you down, but you surpassed it. You've been healing this, or maybe you're in the process of healing something here that has changed in your life. You're being very optimistic about it, but there is an aspect here to self-worth. And I think that you have to look at the accomplishments that you've already had and where you're trying to go to. People, places, and things might be leaving your life, and you're looking at different opportunities and different experiences to have. Right? That is what's going to lead you to having these new, brilliant, creative outlets and aha moments and things that you're passionate about. I can even say, like, perhaps you're finding your passions this month as well. That's going to require for you to do something different. Just because people want to hang out with you doesn't mean that you want to hang out with them, right? But the Sun is there. It's like you want to, but maybe you don't feel it. I don't want to say you don't feel worthy of it. You know, I would check you into your affirmations. I am worthy of friendships and romances and people, places, and things that align with my purpose. I'm worthy of more. I'm grateful for what I have, and I'm worthy of more. You also could be working a lot. You could be hustling, and I feel like something there needs to change. I feel like you're hustling for the wrong reason. If you are working a lot for the wrong reason, maybe you're trying to overcompensate from this massive change that you've been going through. I'm going to pull 2 astrology cards. Gemini, I think, and the 7th house partners. Your 7th house. Nothing's going on in Scorpio. I can say this too, like perhaps you've been working so hard that you forgot about partnership. Maybe you've been hustling so hard and you don't feel worthy of partnerships. I'm just throwing some things out there. I think that you're going to start taking something seriously at the end of the month. I think by the end of the month, you'll be able to articulate what it is that you are trying to say, how it is that you're trying to think. You're going to be taking something more seriously. And I feel like at the end of the month, what you're taking seriously is your self-worth and how you view yourself and value yourself. And perhaps even thinking about like relationships and marriage and contracts and business partners and sharing things with people, and right. You see what I mean? That these have been going in a very interesting way in how I receive these messages here. I'm going to leave it there. My name is Alvin Catalan. Links are down below if you want to book a session. If you would like to a link to a therapy website, let me know. I can send one to you. It doesn't have to be with me, but there are options. And if you like retreats, I'll see you in the California desert in April. Links are below. My name is Alvin Catalan. I'm present. I'm done speaking now.